Welcome to our deep dive into avian intelligence.
Oh yeah, this will be fun.
We're going to explore the surprising ways birds solve problems,
Right.
use tools, and even interact with fire,
Oh, wow.
all based on the sources you provided.
Okay, cool.
So get ready,
All right.
because it's about to get really interesting.
I'm ready.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's easy to think that the term bird brain is synonymous with stupidity.
Right.
But that couldn't be further from the truth.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
what makes bird intelligence so remarkable?
Well, birds have evolved some incredible cognitive abilities, especially when it comes to finding food.
Okay.
They've adapted to all sorts of challenging environments.
Right.
And they've developed these ingenious strategies for survival.
Like what?
We'll take owls, for example.
Okay.
Those asymmetrical ears aren't just for show.
Right.
They allow owls to pinpoint the location of prey with incredible accuracy,
Wow.
even in complete darkness.
That's amazing.
It is.
So right off the bat,
Yeah.
we're seeing that birds have a lot more going on upstairs than we might give them credit for.
Oh, yeah.
What are some other examples of how birds use their smarts to get a meal?
Well, you might have even seen some clever bird behavior in your local park. Think about herons.
Okay.
They've been observed using bait to catch fish.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like dropping leaves or insects onto the water to lure their prey in.
Wow.
And some even use breadcrumbs from park goers
Oh, that's some
to attract minnows.
Wow.
So it's a great example of birds adapting their strategies based on their environment.
That's pretty clever.
Yeah.
I've heard about crows doing something similar.
Mm-hmm.
Don't they drop nuts on pavement to crack them open?
They do.
Really?
And gulls do the same thing with clams.
Wow. So they're using the pavement as a tool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're essentially using the hard surface as a tool to access food
Okay.
that would otherwise be out of reach.
That makes sense.
Then you have the lammergeier
Uh-huh.
or bearded vulture, and they take this a step further.
Oh, really?
They drop bones from high in the air to break them open and get to the marrow inside.
Wow. I can only imagine that's a sight to behold.
Oh, it is.
Though I did read about the Greek playwright Aeschylus,
Oh, yeah.
who apparently met his end when a lammergeier
Oh, no.
mistook his head for a rock and dropped a tortoise on him.
Oh, gosh, that's terrible.
Yeah, not a good way to go.
Yeah, no.
But it also shows that this isn't just instinct,
Right.
they're actively problem solving.
Yeah, definitely.
These examples are incredible.
They are.
But I'm curious,
Sure.
is simply using tools the limit of their abilities?
Actually, some birds take it a step further
Okay.
and craft their own tools.
No, that's where things get really interesting.
Right.
So tell me more about that.
Well, the woodpecker finch in the Galapagos Islands uses modified cactus spines to extract insects from hard-to-reach crevices.
Oh, wow.
They'll even carry their favorite spine around with them.
Almost like a prized possession. What else?
Then there are the Goffin's cockatoos.
Okay.
We haven't seen them crafting tools in the wild,
Okay.
but in captivity,
Uh-huh.
they've shown an incredible ability to create and use tools to solve problems.
So it makes you wonder what they're getting up to out there
Right.
when we're not watching.
Exactly.
And what about the Hawaiian crow, the ala?
Yeah.
I read that although it's extinct in the wild,
Right.
they were adept at using tools in captivity.
Yes. Their dexterity with tools suggests that they may have once relied on this skill in their natural habitat.
That's fascinating.
It is.
These examples are amazing.
Yeah.
But from what I've read,
Uh-huh.
the New Caledonian crow seems to be the true superstar when it comes to bird tool use.
Oh, for sure. They truly are remarkable.
What makes them so special?
Well, these crows craft intricate hook tools from pandanus leaves,
Wow.
and they make a series of precise cuts and tears to create the perfect shape
Oh, wow.
for extracting grubs and insects.
So they're like expert tailors?
Pretty much. And what's fascinating
Yeah.
is that they seem to have a mental image of the tool before they even begin.
That's some next level planning.
It is.
I also remember reading about a groundbreaking study in 2018. Researchers presented these crows with puzzle boxes
Okay.
and gave them sticks that were too short to reach the food inside.
Ah.
What happened next was truly remarkable.
Oh, I bet so. What happened?
The crows spontaneously figured out how to fit the stick pieces together
Wow.
to create a longer tool
Great.
to get the food.
That's amazing.
And one crow even managed to combine 3 or 4 pieces.
Wow. That's incredible.
I know, and get this.
What?
I read that even human children don't typically reach that level of tool-making complexity until they're around 5 years old.
That's right.
It really challenges our assumptions about what a bird brain is capable of.
It does.
And further studies in 2019 showed that New Caledonian crows can even plan several steps ahead
Wow.
when using tools.
So they can actually plan for the future.
Yeah, they're demonstrating foresight and a capacity for mental trial and error. Previously thought to be unique to humans and great apes.
That's incredible.
It's incredible to think that we've gone from birds simply using tools to crows essentially playing a mental game of chess
Oh, wow.
to get their food.
Yeah, that's wild.
This makes me wonder what other hidden depths of intelligence we might uncover in the future.
Who knows?
But this leads us to an even more mind-blowing aspect of bird behavior.
Okay.
Their potential interaction with fire.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where our understanding of birds and perhaps even our own place in the natural world takes a dramatic turn.
Absolutely.
So how does fire fit into this picture of avian intelligence?
Yeah.
Are we talking about birds literally playing with fire?
Well, not playing with it in the way we might think,
Okay.
but there is evidence suggesting they utilize it to their advantage.
You're talking about pirate carnivory, right?
Yes.
The idea that some birds exploit fire to help them hunt. I read about hawks that gather around controlled burns in Oklahoma, snatching up prey fleeing from the flames.
That's a great example.
So the fire acts like a natural beat, flushing out prey for the birds.
Yeah, to explain it simply, pirate carnivory is essentially using fire to aid in hunting.
And it's not limited to just Oklahoma.
Right. It's been observed in various species all around the world.
So this is a global phenomenon.
It seems so.
But the sources I shared go even further and suggest that some birds might not just be opportunistic, they might actually be starting the fires themselves.
That's right, and it's a controversial topic.
So we're talking about birds deliberately picking up burning sticks and dropping them in new areas to start new fires.
That's the claim.
Wow. So are there specific species that are suspected of doing this?
The focus of this debate is on 3 raptor species in Australia.
Okay.
Black kites, brown falcons, and whistling kites.
Have they earned a special nickname?
They've even earned the nickname firehawks.
Because of this behavior.
Due to anecdotal evidence that suggests they spread fire intentionally.
So what kind of evidence is there?
Well, there are accounts from Aboriginal elders describing this behavior.
Oh, really?
Passed down through generations.
So this knowledge has been around for a long time.
It seems so.
What about modern accounts? Are there any?
There's a particularly compelling account from firefighter Nathan Ferguson.
Okay.
He was battling a bushfire in the Northern Territory when he saw black kites swooping near the flames.
And then what happened?
Suddenly, a new fire ignited behind the firefighters.
Wow.
And he witnessed one of the kites drop a burning branch in the unburned grass.
That's incredible.
It is.
But with such an extraordinary claim, there's bound to be skepticism.
Oh, absolutely.
What are the counter-arguments to the idea of birds intentionally spreading fire?
Well, some argue that the birds are simply grabbing burning sticks accidentally while trying to catch prey.
Okay, so they're just hungry and not thinking straight.
Right. But first-hand observers like Ferguson point out that the birds seem very deliberate in their actions.
In what way?
They often carry burning sticks across natural barriers like roads or fire breaks to areas with fresh fuel.
So it seems like more than just random chance.
It does.
Are there any other reasons for skepticism?
Another point raised is that this fire-spreading behavior hasn't been documented in raptors outside of Australia.
Okay, that's a good point.
But those who believe in the theory suggest it might be a matter of observation.
Like maybe it's happening, but we just haven't seen it.
Exactly. Perhaps people haven't been looking for it, or haven't thought to ask indigenous communities in other fire-prone regions if they've witnessed similar behaviors.
So we need more research.
It seems so.
So it seems the big question is whether this behavior is intentional or accidental.
Right.
But if we consider even for a moment that these birds are deliberately spreading fire, how could they have possibly learned such a complex skill?
Well, this is where the concept of cultural transmission comes in.
Could they?
Birds, like many animals, learn from each other and pass on knowledge through generations.
Right. I remember reading about those great tits in Britain that learned to peck open milk bottles to steal the cream.
Exactly. And that behavior spread rapidly through the population.
And there have been experiments that confirm this type of learning called cultural transmission in great tits.
Right.
So they're learning from each other, not just through instinct.
Exactly. So if fire spreading benefits these raptors, it's conceivable that it's a learned behavior passed down through generations.
So just as humans have passed down the knowledge of using fire, maybe these birds have their own form of cultural inheritance when it comes to fire.
It's a possibility.
It's a wild thought to consider, and it challenges our perception of human intelligence, doesn't it?
It certainly does. It raises questions about whether humans were truly the first to harness the power of fire.
Like maybe we learned by observing birds.
Perhaps.
The idea that we might owe our mastery of fire to birds is incredible and somewhat humbling.
It is a humbling thought.
This entire concept of birds potentially using fire is groundbreaking.
It forces us to rethink what we know about animal cognition.
Yeah.
And where our place in the natural world really lies.
Well said. Yeah, it's almost like those old stories about Prometheus stealing fire from the gods.
Right.
But in this case, the birds would be the ones with the secret knowledge.
It really challenges our human-centric view of the world.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, imagine early humans observing these birds and witnessing their apparent mastery of fire.
Right.
Maybe it sparked a sense of wonder and a desire to understand and control this powerful force.
It's a humbling thought to consider.
It is.
It makes you wonder what other secrets the animal kingdom might be hiding.
The possibilities are endless.
Right.
The more we study the natural world, the more we realize how much we still have to learn.
This whole deep dive has been a real eye-opener.
It has.
I came into this thinking about birds in a very limited way.
I hear that.
But now I see them as problem solvers, tool makers, and potentially even fire starters.
It's pretty amazing.
It's incredible.
It is.
So if birds with their relatively small brains can exhibit such complex behaviors, what does that tell us about the potential of the human mind?
Well, it suggests that intelligence might not be a linear progression with humans at the top.
Okay.
Maybe it's more like a vast, multi-dimensional landscape where different species have different cognitive strengths and adaptations.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Instead of a ladder, it's more like a branching tree of intelligence with all sorts of amazing possibilities.
Exactly. And this deep dive into avian intelligence is a great example of that. We've seen how birds have evolved these incredible adaptations for survival. From their specialized sensory abilities to their complex tool use. And perhaps even their relationship with fire.
This has been a truly humbling experience.
It has.
It's made me realize how interconnected and interdependent we all are in the web of life.
Definitely.
What do you think is the most important takeaway for our listeners?
I'd say it's this. Approach the natural world with a sense of curiosity and a willingness to challenge your assumptions. You never know what incredible discoveries are waiting to be made.
Well said. So as we wrap up this fascinating journey into the world of avian intelligence, I'm left with the final thought-provoking question.
Okay.
If birds could be the original fire starters, what other paradigm-shifting discoveries might be out there waiting for us?
That's a great question to ponder. And who knows? Maybe the next groundbreaking discovery will come from someone like you, observing the world with a fresh perspective